Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Education System Reboot channel. Today I want to talk about tracking. So probably shouldn't have started with my screen share, but we're going to use that in just a sec, but we'll come back to it. So one of the reasons I want to do a video on this one is because early in my personal growth process, I was introduced or I was able to plug into some mentorship that utilize tracking. And as I've grown and read a lot more too, I've noticed a theme or a trend in a lot of the personal growth books that talk about the idea of tracking in some form or fashion, right? Some of it's just writing down a goals or literally having something, a checkoff sheet. Now, I think most of us understand that if we're going to be organized in our life, we need some sort of system like that, like a to-do list or whatever. But when it comes to changing our habits, I don't think we tend to think that way. And so the goal of this video is to talk about why I think tracking sheets in the education system would be a really good idea. Maybe how you could use them, because I'm going to give a couple examples of how I've created them. And hopefully by the end of this video, you're going to be able to think of some ways that in your individual class, whatever that is, math, science, music, physical education, whatever, that you might be able to develop or create tracking sheets similar to this, or maybe just like it. You just change a few things. But anyway, I just think the power of tracking, I found it to be very, very, very beneficial. So with that said, let me go back to sharing my screen. All right, so what we're looking at here is what I call a core music habits tracking sheet. Now, so this is specifically for my subject area. And again, I fully admit I stole this from my early on personal growth, and I just adapted it and basically kind of made it for music. But so let me talk about this. So in any of our subjects, we probably have certain specific habits or skills or things we should do on a probably daily basis if we're going to develop mastery in that area. So what I did here is I took what I kind of thought of as four things that I think if you do daily, you're going to grow. So in music, basically this playing fundamentals. Now this is a warm up I have, so they would just this doesn't have to be A through H for you, but in the warm up that my kids use, A through H falls under what I call playing fundamentals. Now what playing fundamentals are they are skills that help you play your instrument specifically better. They are not scales or arpeggios, which is a very common thing in the music world, where we think that those are fundamentals. And I always say, well, you can play a scale with bad tone and bad articulation, so it's not a playing fundamental. Scales and arpeggios are a theory fundamental. Now, let me pause. I know I'm talking music right now, but you could probably replace that with anything. Maybe it's something with writing. Maybe it's something with mathematics. Maybe it's, whatever. Maybe it's something with history. It could be, reading 20 minutes a day, right? Simple things. And then I also think that an important skill to get in the habit with music is listening. So I put this little category, listening or instructional videos, right? So go on YouTube and just listen to your instrument, or do a video periodically that talks about maybe improving a certain skill on your instrument. And then you practice, right? Those are, like, to me, the four things that if you do that daily, your core habits, you're going to grow. And then the idea is if you do them daily, they will compound over time. Then there's a place for other things like individual habits. Like maybe you're working on some excerpts, some solos, some blues scales. I mentioned just some things here. Okay, so these basically are for extra things that you want to do daily to help get better on your instrument. Okay, then there's this monthly goal. And so the idea is in each category, let's hope you would kind of place a goal. So maybe with playing fundamentals, it would be, I want to increase my range to a certain range. Like I want to be able to add 2 notes higher than I was previously doing this month, or 2 notes lower. Maybe for your goal of theory fundamentals, I want to be able to play letters I through U at a certain tempo. And then it's just, did you achieve that goal or not? And then some room for others. Then there's some things like if you're listening, maybe you heard a recording like, oh, I love this piece. I didn't, and you write it down to remind yourself. Maybe there are some YouTube videos that you watch, like, ooh, I gotta revisit that. So it reminds you to check these things out again. And then maybe other musical events. And then there's a place for reflection. Did I achieve what I want? What do I need to improve on next time? But this is designed for students to be able to track every month and keep track of their progress. So this is one example. Hopefully you can think of an application in your subject area. Now, this is, again, another type of tracking sheet. And basically what I did here is weekly etude practice plan. Now, what this was designed to do is if they had a weekly etude, which there was before COVID, this is what I was doing. I had every week there was an etude that they had to play. So what they would do is they put their name, the dates, like the week of, and then they would put whatever the thing they were working on. And then what they would do is they would plan out how they were going to practice. So, and the reason it's Friday through Thursday, if you want to know this detail, is because Friday was the day they had to play it. So Friday would be the new day that they get assigned a new one. So it would be, all right, I practiced Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Thursday. So now I'm prepared to play it or record it on Friday. So anyway, chunking. So I have a description of all these different approaches to practicing. So again, let's just say, for argument's sake, that the etude was letter F, okay? So then they might say, all right, on Friday, I'm going to practice letter F by doing what's called chunking. But then on Saturday, I'm going to do what's called the 3-to-1 ratio. And then on Sunday, I'm going to go back to chunking. So they would plan this out. And then maybe on Monday, they would do what's called the fast to slow approach. And so they would say, all right, I'm going to start at a certain tempo and I'm going to finish at this tempo. And then maybe on Tuesday, they're going to do this, what I call ideal 3/5 reps a day. And it basically means you just play something 3 to 5 times with a metronome. It's very straightforward. And then maybe they're going to sizzle finger play or something, and then maybe they're just going to track their tempo. Maybe they just, maybe they just want to use that. And what I mean by that is maybe they know the goal tempo is 120, and then on Monday they're going to start it, or on Friday they'll start at 80, and then they just practice, and then they get it to 86 the next day. And so there's a lot of different things, but it's again about designing or planning your practicing. Now think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. If our students in our subject area planned out their practicing or planned out their studying better and better every time, imagine what kind of student they would be in your class a month from now, a year from now. Imagine where they'd be from 6th grade to high school in terms of their habits, right? We must do a better job of modeling the process of learning, the process of practicing. And that's what these are designed to do. And anyway, they have a one where you can create their own, okay? Maybe it's a hybrid. Maybe they want to do a little of each, okay? So this is another form of a tracking sheet. And then I have one for what's called monthly skill tracking sheet. So this is just the idea. Let's say they want to improve on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 scales, right? So they could list the scales, and throughout the month, they could say, all right, I'm going to start practicing it at 60. And then every day they practice, and then they make a choice. All right, I did it at 60 today. Let me try it tomorrow at 62. And if they did it at 62 and it felt good, check it off, put an X. And then maybe they're like, man, that felt really easy. Let me try it at 68. Oh, I really sucked at 68. It was too fast. So then but this is designed for over the course of a month. They can pick certain skills they want to improve on, and they just track it towards their goal. Goal setting, right? Isn't that what education's about, is goal setting? Okay. And this one is basically the same as the monthly skill, but this one is just for, like, if we have a concert, they would pick out specific, what's the word I'm looking for? Specific passages that they're struggling with, and they would use this to help them prepare it. But basically, these are just 4 tracking sheets that I created for my band or for my private lessons. Then I also have something like this. So this is an example of a tracking sheet. And actually, level 1B. Let me show you how this is coordinated. Level 1B. So this is a private French horn website that I do. So I have it all laid out. I have the curriculum laid out of all the resources. I've got units, I've got etudes, etc. So again, they have access to the PDF, fingering chart, units, etc. It's all laid out for them, okay? Now, all of this corresponds to this tracking sheet. So it kind of combines what I just showed you. So every week they track, did they practice? That's simple. So up here is just tracking whether they practiced or not. And then down here are the specific skills. So meaning, if I was to go back to, let's see, I'm going to pick Unit 2, letter B. Boom. All right. Unit 2, letter B. If I clicked on this, there's a practice track that helps them play and practice. And it does it 5 times. It does it at 80, 86, 92, 98, 104. And so as they're practicing, they can go through the track and they can track whether they checked it off. And what I tell them is it's their responsibility and their decision to decide if it's checked off. But what standard do you want it checked off at? Do you want to just say, oh, I did it once at 80? Or is it, can I do it every time at 80? And the idea is they have this to help them guide them and improve the process of practicing. So again, as I look at these, really what this comes down to is tracking is a way of improving the process of fill in the blank. For me, it's process of practicing. It could be process of note taking. It could be process of studying. It could be process of football, building a routine for sports, whatever. Here's the process to practice better. But I have found, and I think this is backed by the idea that most of the personal growth books I've read, they reference something like this. Some are more detailed than others. Some are like, just like I did, fill out, just create a tracking sheet of sorts. Some is just write a list of goals, but the idea is you've got to have some sort of tangible system or approach that can hold you accountable to your growth. It's the feedback loop. But anyway, tracking. So my hope is that everyone that does discover this video will be able to see an application in their area of expertise. And hopefully this inspires some creative ideas. But remember, so I'm going to end with two things. Process over product. And as always, consistent effort over time equals success. Have a great day.